Washington University in St. Louis is the home of the Newman Money Museum, which resides in the Kemper Art Building on the Danforth campus facing Forest Park. The Newman Money Museum was originally opened in 1981 and resided in downtown St. Louis at the Mercantile Tower until the mid-90s. In 2006, the museum was relaunched at Washington University, where it continues to operate today. The force behind the Newman Money Museum is 105-year-old Eric P. Newman, a lifelong St. Louis numismatist who began collecting coins as a child and went on to research and write widely in the field. Newman created the standard references for a number of collecting disciplines and has long been considered an authority on American numismatics. Newman talked about rationale for creating a museum.
I was interested in giving others the opportunity of learning from what I collected, just as I had been urged to learn what I collected and why I collected it, and any information that yielded something to my knowledge about the items. The question of when you see something and you acquire the knowledge of it and can share that knowledge with others, then you really have accomplished something.
Most of us think of money simply as a medium of exchange, a tool to acquire our day-to-day needs. The Newman Money Museum thinks more deeply. Every piece of money is at some level a work of art, a daily necessity, an aesthetic experience that incorporates cultural, economic, and political significance. Money is history that you hold in your hand, a widely circulating medium through which governments honor individuals, commemorate events, and express patriotic and societal values. While collectors often focus on the value of a particular object, Eric Newman explained his objective to find a deeper significance.
Because I thought that was the most important, is to have learning and opportunity to study items rather than have the value of them of major importance. I accept the commercial matters as existing, and I have to work with it and therefore guide it as best I can for the American collection.
The Newman Museum exhibits first considers money as a physical object and asks how it is made, how it is physically handled on a daily basis, and how communities have adapted their money to the challenges of manufacturing. This exhibit displays what collectors refer to as odd and curious money. Creating coins or paper money can be a technically advanced process, and different societies without this capability have created any number of substitutes. This is money mutating as a physical object, conforming to the needs of the local economy. For example, remote Asian societies have used tea bricks as money. Similarly, salt bricks play the same role in Africa. We also see the challenges of dealing with money on a daily basis. For many years, foreign coins circulated within the United States, and money handlers resorted to various scales to ensure value on both sides of a transaction. Counterfeits are also a constant threat to any circulating medium, and we will see more about this later. Here we see how art and commerce are married through the creation of paper money. Artists etch designs on metal plates, which are inked and pressed into paper in order to create currency. Ornate, complex shapes are used to deter counterfeits, and so we see an array of geometrical shapes in many designs. Similarly, coin engravers cut designs into coining dies, which are then used to strike blanks. Modern engravers work in plaster, which is then mechanically transferred to the face of a coining die. In previous times, engravers were forced to work directly on the dies themselves, and many of the mistakes they made are conveyed to us today by the surviving coins that were struck from blundered dies. As can be seen, the effort to physically create money is complex, and so it is natural that those who expend the effort use the opportunity to spread the greater message. Hard times tokens, which substituted for 1-cent pieces in the 19th century, frequently bore anti-slavery imagery, such as that seen here. As civil rights expanded in the 20th century, it became more common for the American government to depict blacks and other minority groups on commemorative coins. From 1977 to 1981, U.S. paper money featured the signature of A.Z. Morton, the only African American to hold the office of Treasurer in the United States. The evolution continues, and in 2012, Treasury Secretary Jacob Lew announced that Harriet Tubman will replace Andrew Jackson on the face of the $20 note. Similarly, monetary objects have more frequently depicted female figures, as women have gained influence within political, commercial, and cultural spheres. Female portraits are common on world banknotes, and there are examples on 19th century American paper money as well. The current American currency lineup is dominated by former American presidents, while American coins have featured Susan B. Anthony, Sacagawea, and Helen Keller. In 2006, the U.S. Mint launched a series of gold bullion coins honoring first spouses. While governments use money to portray the ideals of a nation, they must also be ever vigilant against counterfeiters. These are almost as old as money itself, and the technology to detect counterfeits constantly evolves as counterfeits become more deceptive. In the 19th century, mechanical detectors were used to verify the weight, thickness, and diameter of questionable coins. Similarly, millions of books and circulars listing spurious banknotes were a merchant's constant companion, and these were frequently consulted when accepting or exchanging paper money. Today, the U.S. Bureau of Engraving and Printing uses techniques such as watermarks, security threads, color-shifting ink, and extraordinarily fine detail known as microprinting in the production of American currency. Newman talked about his rationale for including forgeries and counterfeits in the museum.
I included forgeries and fakes in order to make the knowledge of those available to everyone who is interested in American numismatics, and in that way learn to tell which were genuine and which were not. This has been a steady problem for everyone, not only for me, but for everybody that looks at coins, American coins particularly. It's been a very serious problem. I want to take away the idea that they can study them and that they can learn a lot from them, either distinguishing between genuine and forgeries and counterfeits and so forth, to the extent they're able to do that with respect to American coins.
Benjamin Franklin, who printed currency in colonial America, invented his own anti-counterfeiting device in 1739. Noticing that leaves carried intricate and unique designs, Franklin was able to transfer the design of a leaf onto a metal printing block. The resulting image was virtually impossible to duplicate and provided a high degree of security to the paper money. Eric Newman first theorized the Franklin invention in 1964, and in 2014, to the surprise of all, one of Franklin's actual printing blocks was discovered in a Pennsylvania archive. It is now on display in the Library of Congress. Besides counterfeiting, another threat to money is inflation. Money has sometimes been backed by precious metals, and in former times, one could exchange a note for a constant amount of gold or silver. Today, most of the world's paper money is produced on a fiat basis, meaning that it is only as strong as the national economy and the government issuing the currency. The temptation for a government to print money as needed is great, and this occasionally leads to absurdly high denominations, such as this $10 trillion note issued by Zimbabwe. The US is equally susceptible in this regard, and the overabundance of paper money issued by the Continental Congress during the Revolutionary War led to the well-known phrase, "not worth a continental." Eric Newman's interest in paper money and printing led to the discovery of John James Audubon's first engraving of a bird. Audubon's large and colorful prints of birds in their natural habitat are well known, but at the age of 99, Newman showed that Audubon's earliest beginnings were far more humble. Audubon engraved this image of a heath hen for use on paper money in the 1820s, a discovery that was vintage Eric Newman, integrating numismatics with other academic disciplines. Eric spoke about his interests in areas outside numismatics.
I was trained by my family to look into everything possible that passed by me, and I was very much interested in items of American origin, which I could learn about and share with others.
When asked about his favorite piece in the museum, Newman does not hesitate.
The gold piece with George Washington president is the one I like the most.
This gold piece, produced in 1792 as an early conception of American coinage, reminds us that the initial version of the 1792 Mint Act specified the use of the presidential portrait on American coinage. Congress debated this point fiercely, with some considering the idea overly monarchical. Eventually, an image of Miss Liberty was chosen, but this gold piece was likely given to Washington himself, and today serves as a reminder of what might have been. Eric acquired this piece in the 1940s from the estate of Colonel E.H.R. Green, a Massachusetts collector. While Newman collected many things, he first collected knowledge, and he was compelled to share this with others. Newman elaborated further on the responsibility he felt to give back what had been given to him.
People should learn whatever knowledge they can acquire and repeat it for others, just as I had the opportunity of having items put in front of me so that I could learn from them. That was part of the knowledge that I acquired in learning about American history relating to coinage, and then it spread out. Everything I learned relating to it started to stick in my brain, and I couldn't get rid of it. So I absorbed it and tried to share it because it had been shared with me in the first place.
The Newman Museum is open daily, except Tuesday, and admission is free. The Newman Numismatic Library, housed in an adjacent room, is also available to researchers by appointment. The Newman Library contains over 10,000 volumes of reference works, periodicals, and auction catalogs, with an emphasis on American coins and paper money. Researchers will find complete sets of core references, such as the American Journal of Numismatics, in addition to specialized works and unique manuscripts. Many of these volumes are now freely accessible online through the Newman Numismatic Portal. The museum is located in the lower level of the Kemper Art Building at the southeast corner of the Danforth campus of Washington University in St. Louis, at Lindell and Skinker Boulevards.